Hello, Capricorn. I don't know what I was about to do with these cards just now. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your July. Take that one. Your July connection session. I am Princess India. If you're new and if you are family, welcome back, my friend. And what's not all whatever. Much like I have been telling everyone, all of the signs prior to you. Unfortunately, my Grams passed away last month, so I wasn't able to do you guys connection sessions for June. So I elected to start off July doing them. So you guys who like the soul sessions, those will be in the midpoint of the month. So anywho, getting into you guys reading. First, we're going to be looking at the energy between you as well as the person of interest. Then we're getting into a more specific spread where we're going to be looking at how your person of interest thinks and feels about you. So the first card out representing Capricorn, interesting. We have the 10 of Swords in the reverse. So Capricorn, there is something that you guys have gone through. It was a cycle, it was a lesson, right? But I would say that you guys didn't necessarily understand the assignment. Please do not fight me, Capricorn. I apologize. I am just the messenger. But I feel like you guys didn't necessarily understand the assignment, meaning that you guys went through something specifically romantical, past tense. And I feel there was a very valuable lesson you guys were intended to learn from this particular thing. But I feel as opposed to learning the lesson, you guys kind of took away from it the heartbreak and or the disappointment, and are still carrying that with you. And I feel it's kind of shifted your perspective on romantic relationships in general, or the one that you're in particular now, right? Because it's kind of, and I actually just posted this on Threads, which is like apparently like the new Twitter for Instagram, of that avoidance is the betrayal of what it is that you truly desire, right? So whenever it is, and this is kind of goes into Likert scale stuff, whenever it is that we go through something, that hurt us or that's less than stellar, we have a natural tendency to avoid that. It's human nature. But the downside of that is that when we continuously avoid things, it ends up causing us to also avoid the thing that we're truly desiring, right? Because we need to be around the people or in the environments or in the situations or the circumstances that would lead to what those true desires are. But, from being disappointed or hurt prior to, we have a tendency to avoid those places. And thus we always end up, with what we don't want. Or if there was a type of person that we dated that broke our heart, right? We elect to no longer date people like that, right? Or look like that, or people from that place. Or, we may ward off romanticism and dating altogether. I don't necessarily think that's the case, because you wouldn't be watching or reading about love if that were the case, right? But whatever the case, what's being highlighted is in reference to this particular connection or this particular person. Whatever it is that transpired past tense, it doesn't really matter if it's recent past or distant past. It's whatever hurt you're carrying from that past situation is what is influencing how it is that you're navigating things with this particular person of interest. Now, your person of interest, interesting, your person of interest is showing up as the Magician. That's Aries energy. So your person of interest is about that commitment life. You know what I'm saying? If they're still on that type of time, they're trying to court you. You know what I'm saying? Like they're about that life. They're about, going on first date, second date, third date, fourth date. They're not about the Netflix and chill, So your person of interest, they want something that's pretty serious and something that's pretty stable. I wouldn't go as far as to say traditional, because this is not the Hierophant. But so I wouldn't necessarily say traditional, but they want something semi-traditional. Like, what is a word for that? I don't know what a word for that is. Like paradoxical? I don't know. Because the vibe I'm getting is like something that may have a loose format of tradition, but not really. So kind of like if you went on first date, second date, third date with someone, but like both of you didn't believe in marriage and you were both copacetic with just like, living together until, you're like 90 and you die. You know what I'm saying? But so it's like that's traditional, non-traditional. It's like that kind of vibe. But whatever the case, this person is pretty serious about like committing. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to have a connection with, you. Ugh. And here we go. My computer did the thing again. Y'all, I'm so serious today. Today I'm gonna start my GoFundMe. I hope my subbies love me enough to donate to my GoFundMe. I really got to get a new computer, y'all. I cannot keep doing this. This is just, it's so annoying. I know y'all are annoyed by it too. My little ghetto MacBook. I'm so annoyed with this MacBook. I'm not even trying to get the next computer that I get. I don't even want a MacBook. I'm literally going to get a PC. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh, y'all, hold on. Goodness gracious. What is happening in America? The whole thing like disappeared. Hold on, you guys. The day that I don't have to do this anymore is going to be so awesome. Goodness gracious. Is it frozen? I'm so sorry, you guys. But how many times do I apologize when I do these? Like some signs get lucky and it doesn't do the wonky thing, but I'm sorry, Capricorn. It did the wonky thing. I'm literally like, I was thinking about that earlier and I was like, I feel so cheesy doing a GoFundMe. But like I always say, I'm a broke therapist, man. It's hard out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm so gonna like do a GoFundMe and hopefully y'all donate to the little broke therapist. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, moving right along. But yeah, so your person, they're super serious about committing whatever it is that would look like for the two of you. But the energy between the two of you, oh, interesting. Okay. We have the world in the reverse, much like when I see the world or the wheel of fortune, that is fixed sign. So Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. However, that is relevant to you. But the world of the reverse, the energy between the two of you is unfinished business. You know what I'm saying? So for some of you, I wouldn't go as far as to say this feels like something pretty new to me. I feel like I'd be reaching if I were to say that this is like somebody that you guys may have dated past tense. You know what I'm saying? This person still wants to commit to you. I mean, we'll know when I get into the more specific spread, but I feel like I'd be kind of reaching if I said that, because that's the only other way I could see this energy showing up is if it's you know, somebody that you dated before and it didn't really go anywhere because of like a reluctance to kind of get hurt or to be vulnerable or open up or what have you. And I'm not even really picking this up for yeah, I mean, that's the only way I could really see that. That's the only way I could really see that. Because I know this unfinished business is definitely on Capricorn side, because I feel it with Capricorn is more unfinished business from your past. But I would see this more or less for your person of interest as a block to there being some sort of completion. So, I mean, unless I see anything in this specific spread that would make me think differently, what this kind of looks like for me is the person that you guys are dealing with presently would be a good candidate for a partner, right? But the main thing that's holding you back from that going to the next level is more or less your inhibitions based on your past experience. As it stands now, like in their overall energy, I'm not really seeing anything with the magician for me that would bring any concern. But again, like I said, we got a whole spread about this person, so that could change very quickly. But for the most part, it's like they're wanting something with you that has the potential to grow into something, but that cycle starting is being blocked by the reluctance on Capricorn's end. You know what I'm saying? Now, getting into their more specific spread and their fleeting thoughts, the first card they have, wow, this has been showing up a lot this month. We have the Queen of Pentacles. You guys are an earth sign. Then we have the Nine of Wands. Interesting. They have clothes on. That's a good thing. The Nine of Wands. Okay. Then we have the Three of Wands in the reverse. Oh my goodness. And in their conscious thoughts, we have, oh wow, come on, Capricorn. We have the Four of Pentacles. This person is kind of seeing y'all pretty clear. So with this Queen of Pentacles, again, this came out for Virgo. If you have that in your chart, check it out. But with this Queen of Pentacles, they're seeing you as someone who's very much, you know, you got your mind on your money and your money on your mind. You know what I'm saying? They see you as someone who's very business focused, very money focused, very career focused, you know, that kind of thing. And you prioritize that over other things. They would see you as a person who is nurturing, but I think more in like a materialistic sense, and not saying materialistic in a negative way, but more or less like, what is that? The love language, like acts of service or like gift giving. You know what I'm saying? Like you show your care for them by, you know, buying them stuff or, you know, paying for coffee, paying for dinner, or, you know, seeing something that they need, buying it, you know what I'm saying? Or just giving them gifts or things of the sort. But when it comes to like an emotional, like vulnerability, heart and souls open type of connection, it's not really giving that. Like, you know, it's not giving, you know, I'm opening my soul to you type of deal. But I do feel like for them, with this being their fleeting thoughts, this is kind of like a rationalization. So them kind of being like, well, you know, they do care about me, or they must be like interested in me, because otherwise they wouldn't be doing XYZ type of deal. But at the same time, with this Nine of Wands, they also have, you know, a hunch that you've been hurt past tense. And potentially the reason why you're not like, you know, super emotionally expressive is because of being guarded from what it is that you have gone through past tense. Now, I said this with another sign before, but it can go either way. It could either be that you've shared this with this person, that you've been hurt past tense, or it could literally be, them assuming that, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of looking at, what your guys' conversation is, or what your opinions on things are, or just how you're kind of maneuvering. It could be the assumption that you've been hurt past tense, but it could also be that you guys have shared this with this person. But on the other side of this, with the Three of Wands in the reverse, it's also like a worry for them. I wouldn't say like a worry, but almost like a concern, I would say, is wondering like if this even has like future potential. You know what I'm saying? Now, going back to the Magician, that's what this person wants. Whether, like, I wouldn't say traditional because it's not the Hierophant. I do feel it's a little non-traditional, like traditional, non-traditional, whatever that is, like a paradoxical type of connection thing going on here. But with this being in the information that they're weighing, that says to me this person is interested. They desire to see, things kind of flourish between the two of you. But it's the thought of like, this person's really focused on, their career, their money, whatever. They may have been hurt in the past. Maybe that's why they're like this. And that causes them to wonder, like, does this have longevity? Is this really going to go anywhere? Is this person ever going to warm up? Is that going to change? Right. But in their conscious thoughts, this is what they're aware of how they're seeing you. We have the Four of Pentacles. So we can see this a couple of ways. Really, in a sense, what they gathered from what it is that they've been weighing is that quite possibly money and career is more important to you than connection. Like, that's how it is that they're seeing you. So it's more or less their kind of second fiddle in a sense. It's like, they may like me, like having me around, whatever. But, their main focus is like money and, their career, but seeing you as kind of preoccupied by that and kind of closed off, you know what I mean? And there can also be some thoughts in here as well of like a fear of losing that, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of talk of that now, like, where people don't want to like be, married and stuff like that, because it's the fear of like commingling finances and like ending up at a disadvantage financially for getting married to someone. So it's kind of stuff in that arena is how it is that they see you. Like, you got your mind on your money and your money is on your mind. So them seeing you as, when we look at core values like success, wealth, those things are kind of top of mind for you, and everything else is kind of secondary. And there could be a little bit of like stinginess here, but mind you, this is how it is that they're perceiving you. But looking at their fleeting thoughts in connection with this, it's like, I can't say that they're 10 toes down, but they kind of are. Because I mean, this is pretty much the judgment that they've made of you up to this point. But I feel that there's other things where they kind of want that to not be so. So it's almost like, okay, what you showed me up to this point, this is what I kind of gather. But looking at the fact that this Three of Wands is here and this Nine of Wands is here, I feel like that's kind of hopes for them. Like, they're hoping that maybe it's just because you were hurt past tense. They're hoping that there is potential for you guys, moving forward. And maybe it's just because they're just a person who's like a workaholic and really into work type of deal. Now, their subconscious impression / projection, well, there goes the Hierophant. We have the Hierophant in the reverse. That is Taurus energy. So here is the thing that's interesting. And I'm glad I highlighted that with the Magician. With this person at the heart of it, they're very non-traditional and they're a little non-committal. You know what I'm saying? But mind you, a lot of non-committal. But mind you, this is in their subconscious. So with this person, they may be very clear on, or think they are, on what it is that they want. So they think. And this is where this is kind of like red flag city with this, because this is a person that could kind of like switch up on you, right? like their thought, and I don't know why the scenario is coming in my head, like this being a person where they're coming off as like, oh, they want to be together, they want a life with you, all of the things. But this is kind of like the type of person, and not saying this is your exact situation, Capricorn, but just to give you an example, like this would be someone where they lay it on thick, dating time super cool, everything's copacetic, we want all the same things, you guys get married, everything is fine. And like when, one of you has a kid, like the person completely switches up. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's literally what's going to happen, but just like an example of like once it becomes real. So it could be like when you get married or when you have a kid, it's like something, or when you purchase a home, like something where you lock it down and it's like for real, for real. It's almost like a switch goes off. This person panics. They start finding everything wrong with the relationship or everything wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Because of them having a fear of commitment. So when we're looking back at their fleeting thoughts as well as their conscious thoughts, I don't really feel so much with the money stuff, because I mean, all the Capricorns I know, y'all bees about y'all money like Libra's about their money. It's just y'all be holding on to it a little bit more than Libra does. Sorry, Libra, don't mean to talk about you behind your back. If you're cross watching, that's your fault. Ain't nobody tell you to cross watch. Anyway, moving right along. But I don't feel so much with the money career stuff. I feel that's kind of like a judgment based on your behavior. But with the stuff of the fear of, oh, they were probably hurt, whatever, they're guarded, they're closed off. It's like they're knowledgeable of all of those things, or, making assumptions about those things. But with this person, they are non-committal and I don't know how you're going to feel about this. When I talk about with this magician, how it's a traditional, non-traditional relationship, that coupled with the subconscious being Hierophant in reverse, when I say this person could potentially change up on you, this could potentially mean you guys are in, a monogamous commitment. And then later on down the road, they start talking about polyamory, or they start talking about bringing another person in, or they, tell you later on down the road that they're, bisexual. You know what I'm saying? Never mentioned that before type of thing. You know what I mean? So with Capricorn, I mean, if you're into that, then that's not a problem. But if you're not, I feel like this could kind of be a left field thing. And where this person could fall into the category of being a potential ticking time bomb is the fact of them not being aware of this. This is something I would say even more so depending on how young you guys are, because this could be something that's indicative. Gosh, this is a lot of things I'm getting. This is something that could be indicative of age. So like, say if you guys are in your early 20s, right? Or if this, like, damn, that's a lot. Or if this person, I mean, I don't think you could be too religious if you're watching tarot readings. But if this person is deeply involved in some sort of like religious or spiritual sect, you know what I'm saying? Some sort of belief system, like that's something that could switch. But it's kind of like a person coming into their own in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So with this being in their subconscious, it's like this is a truth about this person, but it's like a truth about them. Like I always say with the subconscious card, it's something that they're not yet aware of. And with subconscious impressions, it's not really something we have control over. You know what I mean? And that's why I say even more so, if this is a person who's in their early 20s, like they're not even 25 yet. I don't even think people that young watch my channel. But I mean, some of y'all might be dating people that young. I'm gonna look at your side eye depending on how old you is. But anyway, if it's a person who hasn't hit 25 yet, this is kind of normal. You know what I mean? And I mean, I could even say this for people in their 30s too, because I feel like 25 is a big life transition for a lot of people, all the way up until 27, because that's your Saturn return. And I feel like when people hit 35, you go through like a mini kind of shift. I think the next biggest one is when you're like 45. And then like the 50s life shifts, like, you know, midlife crisis, like all the things like that's, you know, latter life. But in your 40s, I feel like it's when people go through the next major shift. Because I mean, in a trauma sense, if a person's never processed their trauma, like specifically women, if women haven't processed their trauma, when you get in your mid 40s is kind of when like it'll hit you. So you could have suppressed it for 45 years. You know what I'm saying? And once you hit 45, it's like a light switch goes off and people start having flashbacks, like all kinds of things starts happening. So I could see that kind of in a smaller percentage for an older age, but in the context of how I'm seeing it, of like this being, you know, a person realizing, you know, they have a different sexuality, a person realizing that monogamy really isn't their thing, a person who, you know, was Catholic their entire life and realizing I'm actually an atheist. Like those are things that are possible at any age group, but it's more prominent to happen for people when they're in their early 20s. So with this, it's not necessarily like, because I mean, this isn't in the person's conscious awareness. So it's not like, you know, they're doing it on purpose. It's not like they're wearing a mask, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to reveal, you know, a whole nother person to you type of deal intentionally, but it's just this person's own maturation type of deal. But you know how it is that they're projecting this onto you is all of those things that I've described. In some sense or another, they're seeing that about you. But where I feel like this could be kind of an issue is like if Capricorn is 10 toes down and this 10 of swords in the reverse, meaning like you are very much like whatever it is that you went through that hurt you and you're dead ass set, like I will never be in another committed relationship, I will never ever, you know, be married again, like I hate children, I will never procreate, you know what I'm saying? If Capricorn, because that's possible. Like the thing I always say, I think me as a therapist and as a human being, my perception on life is I always want people to recover, grow, and heal, right? But I'm also aware that, you know, this is our lives. We can paint it however it is that we want. And we can literally, we have the right to choose to not change certain things about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So if Capricorn got to a point to where you warded off those things, you have every right to do that. I'm not going to judge you and tell you that you shouldn't because it's your life. You know what I'm saying? You have to live it. But if Capricorn is really dead set in that, where this projection could be an issue is that whatever it is that this person wants, what they want with you, what they want from you, they can be projecting from this place onto you, meaning that they see there being a change. So for you, this isn't a negotiable for you. Like this isn't, I'm just butthurt. It's like, nah, I went through this, not a fan, and I'm completely bowing out. And with this person, they can be looking at you almost as if they could change your deal. And I talked about this in another sign about like situationships and stuff like that. It's like a lot of times people will partake in situationships when a person's like, I don't want a commitment. I don't want a commitment, right? I don't do commitments. I don't do titles, whatever. A person will stick around with a person like that because of the Queen of Pentacles energy, like, oh, wow, they got my oil changed, or like, oh, you know, they didn't really care about me, they wouldn't do X, Y, Z, right? So they're misconstruing that as like love. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, they're scared about their past. You know, I just have to show them that I'm trustworthy. So this person will kind of hang around in an unconventional type of connection in hopes of persuading you into, you know, you kind of following suit with what it is that they're wanting. You know what I'm saying? And I hear that more than I would even like to admit, of people feeling like the reason why some people are anti, you know, marriage or anti-relationship or anti-kid is because they're afraid, right? And it's like, I mean, in the bigger scheme of things, I could say, yeah, you know, because like I said in the beginning, it's like, you know, we've been hurt, we avoid things, you know, but I mean, if we've gotten to a point to where we've conditioned ourselves or changed our belief system and we're like, I really don't want that. Like, that's possible too. But I mean, we could say that it's fear in the bigger scheme of things, but it's like that's neither here nor there because it's still, the person's decision. So the thing that I would say, Capricorn, to be conscious of, only if, like, whatever stance you guys have taken that this Ten of Swords in the reverse is representing, if you know that's like a hard no for you, this person could very well hang around in hopes of changing your mind. And that's how this Hierophant in the reverse would be showing up. But like I said, on the other side of this, with this particular person, I feel there's going to be an epic shift with them. And I can't say soon because it's in their subconscious and it's in the reverse. So it's probably going to be a while. But there's going to be something that crops up with this person. And that to me would be what the world in the reverse is speaking to on their side. Because how it is that they're presenting to the world now is copacetic and fine. But there's a ticking time bomb inside of them. And it can manifest in a myriad of different ways. It's something about, like, say, hypothetically, if this person is very straight edge and traditional now, it's like later on, it's something in them is going to awaken that falls into that category that's like the antithesis of what it is, or like who you fall in love with now. It's a part of them that would be like the antithesis of that later on. So I feel like that's something you'd have to keep in mind in reference to this person. But before I turn over their feelings card, what I will say to you, Capricorn, is regardless of what's going on with this person, if you're not 10 toes down on your 10 of swords in the reverse, I would say that this connection with this person has been a catalyst that the universe is using to point out to you this thing that's unhealed, right? So that has to be dealt with, whether you deal with, well, I'm not going to say has to, I will say it would behoove you, right, to deal with this, whether you decide to date this person or stick with this person or not. Because I feel in any connection you go into moving forward, this is always going to be a thing that ends up coming up. And if I were to kind of play that out into the future, the potential could be like, say with this person and their ticking time bomb type of thing, say if you took a chance on this person, this ticking time bomb thing crops up and they're just like, yeah, so let's do polyamory now, right? Then that would cause you to go back into like this 10 of swords in the reverse and kind of shut down and look at that kind of like a cosign of like, see, this is exactly why I don't do relationships. So I feel that's why this is coming up, because this is a free will choice of whether you deal with this person or not. But you could potentially be set up for the okie doke if this isn't addressed, because this person being how they are, I mean, they can't really control it. I feel like this is just a part of their life path, their life journey, what they got to learn, whatever. But if you kind of put all your eggs in one basket with this person, this could be the person that would be confirmation for you of how letting someone in was a dumb idea, right? Now, their feelings towards you. Oh, that's interesting. We have the 9 of Cuppies in the reverse. They don't have clothes on, so I'm covering them up. We have the 9 of Cuppies in the reverse. So here's the thing with them. It's like half-hearted happiness to an extent with this 9 of Cups in the reverse. It's like they have feelings for you. They're happy with you, but it's them feeling almost as if they're not getting the whole gusto, right? I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're, projecting and saying that they feel you're not happy with them. I don't really feel it's that. It's just what they're wanting from you. And what I heavily feel it is, looking at this Queen of Pentacles and this 4 of Pentacles, it's like this emotional connection. So this person may feel like they have you physically, y'all are connecting financially, y'all are spending time together. But when it comes to like a heart space, they don't feel like they're having a heart connection with you. So it's almost like you're giving this person every facet of yourself except for your heart, right? That kind of puts a little, rain on their parade. You know what I mean? So it's them desiring to have you in a fullness sense. But I understand why that is because of your 10 of swords in the reverse. I think that vulnerability for the Capricorns who resonate with this, it's like that's kind of a no-go for you. So, you'll kick it with someone, you'll go on dates, you'll fraternize, you'll gallivant, you know what I'm saying? You'll buy them some stuff, but when it comes to, being fully vulnerable, having true intimacy, I feel like there's kind of, like a wall there. And I mean, it's understandable because all of those other things can't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? You could be disappointed. You could feel like you wasted your time. You could feel like you wasted your money. But that's vastly different than, nursing a broken heart, like truly letting a person in. So it's almost to an extent that Capricorn is kind of dealing with this person with a 10-foot pole to a certain extent. But I mean, I don't feel like, I don't know. You know how I was saying like they're traditional, non-traditional? I can kind of, and that's intuitively kind of pick up that vibe with you guys, not in the traditional, non-traditional sense, but in the sense that there is a physical closeness between you and this person, or with people that you deal with. You allow a level of physical closeness, but it's that emotional, intimate closeness that there's a 10-foot pole. You know what I'm saying? So everything externally is copacetic, but that emotional aspect is missing. And your person of interest noticed that. And I feel what their mission is, and I hate to say it that way, Capricorn, but I really feel what this person's mission is with you is almost like them trying to get intel of the why, going back to that 9 of Wands. It's like trying to get intel of the why, rationalizing maybe it's work, but their MO is trying to get you to open up because this person is feeling unfulfilled in this connection, because it's almost like this connection checks all of the boxes except for this particular thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. They don't seem like a bad person to me. You know what I mean? They like, if this person isn't in their like early 20s or something, I would say either this person has to be younger than you, or their maturity level is just like maybe they were sheltered or something like that. Or maybe I would even go as far as to say maybe they got married really young. Like, say if they got married super young and were married for like buku long, I mean, if we went all out with it, like, I don't know, say they were Amish or something. I don't know. They were like in some really strict like religion, got married super, super young and were married for years and like got divorced within the last year or two or something like that. And you guys are dating them to where the person doesn't have like a lot of life experience or a lot of experience like being single. Like to me, there feels like some sort of like naivete about this person, or some level of them not having experienced as much life as Capricorn has, or not experiencing their life to the fullest. It's some type of contrast with that. And like I say, like with this Hierophant in the reverse, what this thing is that'll be birthed out of them, it may be something that you fool with. You know what I'm saying? Like if this person is, like say if they're bisexual, maybe that doesn't bother you. Like if you're a dude and your person of interest is a chick and you find out she likes chicks, maybe that wouldn't bother you. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're open to having other people in your relationship from time to time and your person realizes that they're into that and you never share that with them, it's like, oh my God, me too. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's something that the two of you could work with. But the only way I would say that this would be like an issue is if Capricorn is like a very straight and narrow, like very traditional, prudish kind of type. Then it would be kind of risky with that. But I mean, like I said, it's the potential that it could be something that doesn't bother you at all, or something that you fraternize with, but that's still, something I would say, be watchful about. I think that's more of a self thing of what it is that you're willing to deal with, because there's nothing that you could ask this person for them to have any insight into this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's subconscious. So they don't even know that this is something, or Like if you're a super religious person and they pop out being atheist, you got to think about like, would you be okay with being with someone who's atheist? You know, so just kind of knowing what your deal breakers are, I feel would be important with this Capricorn. But I've been doing this for everyone, throwing my little zodiac dice, you know, to see if this additionally resonates, their signs come up or your signs come up, and you notice as you're reading, whatever the case. But I was like, I said I didn't know how long I was going to do it, but now I'm like, I'm going to feel bad if I don't do it for every sign. But let's see. We have Taurus and Capricorn. So Taurus and Capricorn. So maybe you or your person of interest has that in your chart. This is a Capricorn reading, and we have a Taurus card. So I don't know. Maybe you got Taurus in your chart or your person is a Taurus. I don't know. But anywho, Capricorn, that has been your connection session for July. Most certainly let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner